Mr. Jayesh Ranjanji, Mr. Srinivas Rao Mahagali, Ms. Deepthi Rawala, and our past chairpersons. On behalf of our chairperson, Ms. Ritusha, I. Smita Sanghi, Honorary Secretary, Joint Secretary, Flow Hyderabad Chapter, would like to welcome you all to the panel discussion on the power of partnership and the official signing of the MOU between Flow Hyderabad and the T-Hub. Could I kindly request everybody to please put your phones on silent mode and rise for the national anthem, please.
Janagana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Uttara Vanga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Ujjala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय
It's an honor to request the floor chairperson, Ms. Ritusha, our panelists, Mr. M.S.R. and Ms. Deepthi Rawala, and our past chairpersons here with us, Ms. Manjula Reddy, Ms. Rekha Reddy, Ms. Padma Rajgopal, to please come up for the lighting of the lamp. For a picture, please, with Mr. M.S.R. and Ms. Deepthi Rawala. Welcome to our past chairperson, Ms. Sona Chaturvedi. I now request the co-committee, followed by the EC committee, to come in for the picture. Flow chairperson, vice chairperson, Ms. Riddhi Jain committee. Flow committee. Individually, we are one drop, but together we are an ocean. As we embark on a journey which is benchmark for women empowerment, I invite Miss Kirti Chitlapuri, Miss Charul Suri to come up and introduce our panelist, Mr. MSR.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to introduce one of our panelists, Srinivas Rao Mahakali, also known as MSR. MSR is a native of Telangana and holds an MBA from IIM Bangalore and a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from OU College of Engineering. All right. So we have Jayesh Ranjan joined us, so I guess Kirti will take over now.
A very warm welcome to our guest of honor, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan ji, Mr. Mahakali Srinivas Rao, also known as Mr. MSR, and Ms. Deepti Rawala. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, who is an Indian bureaucrat currently serving as the Principal Secretary of the Industries and Commerce and Information Technology Department of Government of Telangana. He is also known for his contribution towards the development of IT industry in the state of Telangana. He is an alumni of IIT Kanpur, IIM Calcutta, joined Indian Administrative Services in 1992. In his career spanning over 3 decades, he has held various important positions in Telangana government, worked in the areas of urban development, industries, information technology, tourism and transport. He's been playing a key role in formulating the IT policy of Telangana government, which helped the state to emerge as the hub of IT and innovation. He has received several awards, including the Digital Leader of the Year Award at the World Digital Summit in 2018 and the Most Innovative IT Leader Award at the CIO Powerlist Awards in 2019. He is also a member of various national and international organizations related to IT and innovation. He is also known for his leadership qualities, strategic thinking, and innovative ideas. He has been very instrumental in promoting women entrepreneurship and is on a mission to make Telangana a women entrepreneurs hub. Sir, we are honored to have you here today with us. Now, I would request our chairperson to felicitate our guest of honor. Okay, I would now request all our guests to be seated on the stage. Thank you so much. Now I would request Ms. Charlotte to introduce Mr. Mahakali Srinivas Rao.
Good morning, everybody. Srinivas Rao Mahakali is a native of Telangana and holds an MBA from IIM Bangalore and a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from OU College of Engineering. At the start of his career, MSR has worked with Sonata, Computer Vision Labs and Microlab. He is a bibliophile, a cricket fanatic, auntie-wall, and enjoys quizzing. He and his wife Karuna, a special educator, are the proud parents of 2 daughters. MSR was part of the promoter team at NetSol, which he helped scale from an early stage entity to being among India's top 3 network integration entities. He also co-founded Ojaz in 2008 with seed funding from IDG Ventures. MSR also served as the CEO of The Game. As an accomplished serial entrepreneur, MSR has built and scaled businesses across geographies over his 35-year stint in the IT industry. Currently serving as the CEO of T-Hub, he leads its mission of enabling and empowering an ecosystem hungry for innovation. His areas of focus includes rigorous program evaluation, fundraising, communications, actively engaging with key stakeholders in the ecosystem. MSR is working on building a world-class innovation ecosystem movement at T-Hub and wants to ensure that T-Hub transforms Telangana into a leader in innovation. I now request the chairperson to felicitate Mr. MSR. I now request Hema to take over.
Hello, good morning everyone. I would now like to introduce Ms. Deepti Rawala. Deepti Rawala is the CEO of WeHub, Government of Telangana initiative to promote foster women entrepreneurship. She has done her engineering from Hyderabad and has attended graduate school at CSU San Diego. She has worked in various fields and has worked on audio acoustic design, cellular technologies, connectivity technologies, and as an RPF application engineer AE, handling all pre and post sales support, technical, marketing, business development. Deepti joined as a Joint Director for Electronics Promotions with the Government of Telangana in 2016. Her knowledge and experience paved way for defining various policies and creating investor collaterals in the sector. She was also instrumental in enabling investments through MSME and large-scale industries in the state of Telangana. In February of 2018, Deepti was appointed as the CEO of WeHub, a state-led incubator exclusively for women entrepreneurs whose mandate is to eliminate financial and social barriers while assisting them to succeed in their enterprises. May I now request our chairperson to facilitate Ms. Deepti Rawala. I now request our chairperson to give her address.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I'm immensely pleased to welcome you and all our dignitaries to the very first event of the year 2023-24 at Flow, Hyderabad. I stand here tall and confident as the 22nd chairperson, and I promise to shoulder this crucial responsibility with passion and act with integrity. My vision for the year is development which sustains our today to empower our tomorrow. The development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own, thus sustaining her ability. May I have the vision video, please?
The pandemic has been a challenging experience for everyone, but no one can deny that women have been the most impacted. The pandemic has put to test a woman's ability to sustain herself and strike a balance between her physical and mental health, economic growth, environmental protection, and societal well-being. After experiencing the uncertainty of the future, we have learned valuable lessons of hope, survival, and sustainability. Women now have to rise above all adversities and face the challenges to sustain not just their own existence, but the existence of humanity as a whole. The first challenge we saw was to address women's health. Almost 50% of women aged between 15 and 24 years are still using cloth during their menstruation, and more than 30% of women, which is twice that of men, are suffering from different mental disorders. We want to focus on menstrual hygiene, accessibility of sanitary napkins while advocating women's mental health and wellness, thus sustaining her health. The second challenge we want to address is the lack of equal opportunity for women to achieve their goals. Women have traditionally prioritized their families and responsibilities over their aspirations. We want to provide a platform for women to set their goals and design a well-curated path to achieve them through empowerment, business networking, and marketplace, thus sustaining her goals. Women's education is the third challenge we want to address. In India, the literacy rate is a mere 62.3 in women compared to 80% in men. To ensure that knowledge and education for women reaches far and wide, we must equip them with the necessary tools and skills required to create a better world for tomorrow. To achieve this, we aim to work towards digital literacy, financial literacy, skilling and upskilling, thus sustaining her education. The fourth challenge we want to address is women's culture. A woman is a harbinger of culture, not just for her family, but for society. It is through her that values are passed on through generations. We therefore want to work towards preserving and nurturing her culture, which is her pride, through a special book, Lost in Time, Revival Glory of Telangana, through Style Tattva, the sustainable fashion and lifestyle exhibition, through retreat, networking, and cultural exchange in different states, the beautiful handloom from Telangana, Telia Rumal, thus sustaining her culture. Women are like resilient seedling breaking through the soil, growing and advancing. We give these resilient women the four pillars of our vision, which are the pillar of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. As they come together, we present to you our vision statement: sustain her ability, sustain her social ability, sustain her economic ability, sustain her environmental ability, sustaining her ability. Watch as the vibrant lady in green stands as a metaphor for a strong woman who knows she has strength enough for the journey. A woman of strength who knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Let us show you the vision plan where the entire year is aligned perfectly with the four pillars of sustain her ability.
I, Nitusha, Flow Hyderabad Chairperson 2023-24, feel the strong need to answer calls for moving from words to action and hence the theme for the year. Sustaining her ability to excel in all aspects of life is what 2023-24 is all about. Believe in being strong, believe in being happy, believe in today, believe in tomorrow, believe in a miracle, believe in yourself, for you are what you want to be.
Thank you. I'm delighted to share that my team and I have already started taking steps towards sustain her ability in the few short days since our year has begun. Yesterday, we had the grand launch of the third edition of Style Tattva Fashion and Lifestyle Exhibition, which will be held this year on the 22nd and 23rd of July at Hightex. In keeping with this massive success in the previous two editions, we are positive that this edition will permanently imprint itself in the shoppers as Bahubali of exhibitions in Hyderabad. This year, we are coming up with a special pavilion for rural artisans to revive and promote Indian fabrics and techniques. Style Tattva team has already started taking bookings for stall, and we would urge you all to spread the word far and wide. Our Women's Health Initiative has started off strong with the team already facilitating the installation of 8 sanitary napkin vending machines, distributing over 1900 packets of pads to 8 government schools and impacting close to 2300 girls and women. I hope that we march ahead with the same gusto and make a real impact this year. I'm so proud to say that on the very first day of this year, within a few short hours of announcing our renewals, we had 80 members renew their membership fees for the year. The zeal and enthusiasm really motivates us to work harder because we know our members are eager for another exciting year in Flow. So I urge all the members present here also to renew their memberships at the earliest so we continue to bring the best to you. With Sustain Her Health and Sustain Her Culture well on their way, I'm excited to embark on Sustain Her Goals today. I'm indeed proud that we are beginning the year with this discussion on empowering women, the Flow Hyderabad and T-Hub partnership for diversity and inclusion. The crux of Flow, as the tagline clearly articulates, is power to empower. So we thought, what better way to begin the year with a discussion on empowering women. More specifically, we wanted to address gender diversity and inclusivity, which we have been long-standing challenges, and it's time we spotlight the efforts to address them. Today, Flow Hyderabad and T-Hub have taken up the mandate to promote diversity and inclusivity in the startup ecosystem and empower women entrepreneurs. The objective is to create a more equitable ecosystem that promotes innovation and entrepreneurship among women, leading to the state's growth and development of the startup ecosystem. In this panel discussion, we have illustrious guest Sri Jayesh Ranjan Ji, Principal Secretary of the IT and Information Technology Department of Telangana Government, Sri Srinivas Rao Mahakali, Chief Executive Officer of T-Hub, and Ms. Deepti Ravula, Chief Executive Officer of V-Hub. They will also share their insights and experiences on this important topic. We will discuss how this partnership empowers women entrepreneurs in Telangana and the challenges that women face, the kind of resources and the support that is provided by the government in the state. We hope this discussion will provide valuable insights and inspire entrepreneurs, investors, and other stakeholders in the startup world to create a more diverse and inclusive ecosystem. Empowering women isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. When women succeed, communities thrive and economies grow. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As the Head Empowerment at Flow Hyderabad, I, Pooja Mitra, am delighted to introduce you all to our plan for this vertical empowerment for the year 23-24. As you all know, Flow is committed to promoting entrepreneurship and economic empowerment among our members. And so, our core goal for the year is to build a strong entrepreneurial foundation that empowers our esteemed members. We provide intellectual and technical resources, facilitate valuable networking opportunities with corporates and vendors, and also share thoughtful knowledge and expertise through incubation and mentorship. Our content strategy will include tie-up, workshops, vendor meets, mentor meets, business articles, videos, and interviews. We will also be creating engaging content that provides value to our members and encourage their participation. This can include sharing their success stories and business tips. And today, we look forward to the beginning of signing this prestigious MOU with T-Hub, the largest incubation center in India, to provide our members with valuable professional support and mentorship. It is indeed a great matter of pride for us to be taking women empowerment globally through the valuable support system of T-Hub. We are also partnering with corporates and organizations that share our vision of inclusivity and diversity to provide more resources and opportunities for our members. The outcome of this whole empowerment program will be a valuable professional support for our Flow members, so to upscale their businesses. In conclusion, building a community of women and entrepreneurs can be rewarding and impactful endeavor, and we are excited to embark on this journey with all of you. Let us work together to empower ourselves and our fellow members. Our team is available to support you in your entrepreneurial journey and to help you achieve your professional goals. Feel free to reach out to any of us for assistance. Thank you. I would now like to invite Mr. Sunil Madikatla. He is the founder and CEO of Blue Semi. He will talk about his success story here at T-Hub. Please, sir. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Wish you a very healthy and exciting morning. I mentioned healthy, obviously you will know that we are a health tech firm, born and brought up in T-Hub. We are a company that has grown all the way from being $1 million valued to now north of $100 million valued as on date. Thank you. So there are a few very important things I want to talk about T-Hub for us being here. At T-Hub, when it was first started, the way it was inaugurated, the way the ecosystem came up, for startups like us who just started off with just $1 million valuation, extensive network across India was most important, that we wanted to get in room with top companies that are out there, but with ease, because being a startup, you get undervalued, and being a little young gets undervalued a little more. But being a T-Hub, at least I was never shied away from just going there to the T-Hub executive team to just ask whatever I want. And honestly, they never failed me. It was all the time, whoever I want to get in discussion with, T-Hub literally helped us to get the discussion happen. Obviously, T-Hub won't help you to close the deal. That's your product and you who has to do that. But they'll surely get you that discussion time with them. And this has been proven at multiple instances. It's not just once. Even our first investor, I met while I was just walking around the T-Hub Phase 1 building, and then he was the strongest supporter of us, and because of that, we are now in this growth phase. We are expecting to be a unicorn in next 1.5 to 2 years time frame. That's what we are looking at. Apart from that, I'd also like to give a glimpse of the challenges that we have faced being a startup. The two most important challenges that everyone faces is the funding, obviously, and then the team that works along with you. Even right now, ideally, we spend around 2.5 to 3 months in hiring just one person in our team. While we try to keep it lean, we also make sure these people literally live the same vision as a founder, how I live my vision day in and day out. Again, T-Hub is a wonderful place with a lot of talent. It's easy to find people because these guys are already aligned to a startup culture, of the hustle culture of working or burning the midnight oil. So we usually network around the cafeteria and some of the events like this, and we find amazing people to work with. It can be co-founders, it can be KMPs, or it can be regular team members as well. And being young and being a startup, getting access to funds or investments, or getting a direct meeting with VCs becomes a little hard. This is again another place where the ecosystem, I'm proud to say, the ecosystem that the Telangana government was able to build up along with T-Works here and then we have on the back, the investors just come here than us going out and finding them. So that was another very interesting point I'd like to particularly talk about in being inside an ecosystem compared to being outside somewhere in another corporate real estate. So this is a the entire journey in a crisp 2 to 3 minutes. And in fact, one important thing I would like to convey here is the networking opportunities that you get around T-Hub is immense. Right now, you get to see around 80 to 100 people you get to talk to, and imagine this day in and day out and for years. So that's an amazing ecosystem that T-Hub has come up with, and we are a proud startup of T-Hub, born and brought up here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The best partnerships aren't dependent on a mere common goal, but on a shared path of equality, desire, and a great amount of passion towards a common vision. It gives me immense pleasure to invite Ms. Ritusha and Mr. MSR for the signing of the MOU between Flow Hyderabad and T-Hub. May I invite the empowerment team to come in for a picture after this? I now invite our chairperson, Ms. Ritusha, to begin with the panel discussion on the power of partnership.
Hello. Through this partnership, Flow Hyderabad and T-Hub will work together to provide a range of services to women entrepreneurs, including incubation support, access to funding opportunities, mentorship programs, and networking events. This partnership will also provide women entrepreneurs with access to T-Hub's extensive network of investors, mentors, and industry experts, as well as Flow Hyderabad's network of success women entrepreneurs and business leaders. Thank you, sir. So my first question will be to Jayesh ji. So we all are aware that Telangana government has always been a frontrunner in terms of creating ecosystems, resources and opportunities when it comes to women empowerment. Over the years, we have also seen many initiatives that were being launched for women, and can you just elaborate on how government initiative for women entrepreneurs have impacted state's overall economy? V-Hub, T-Hub also I think so are two such initiatives that the government has got to us. Can you just elaborate on that, sir?
Sure. So, first of all, before I answer the question, first of all, greetings to you and your colleagues.
Thank you, sir.
For your new term. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
The vision statement that you presented is very, very impressive, and definitely I'm sure that all of you will leave a very stellar impression in this arena of entrepreneurship, innovation, women empowerment. So we'll be very happy to support whatever projects, whatever programs that you design, and look forward to working very closely with all of you. So, since you have asked about what is the plans for empowering women, of promoting women's participation in our state's economic growth, whatever has been done in the last 8.5 years now, that itself is very, very incredible. In fact, many of the states, other states in the country today, look at some of our initiatives with lots of envy because they don't have anything of this kind. And of course, they try to replicate and they try to emulate us, which also is very flattering. So, you may know this because one of the first exclusive industrial park for women entrepreneurs started in Telangana. We have 4 such parks now of different sizes, but the one which is taking off very, very nicely is the one which is developed in partnership with Flow. And in fact, when we were making that decision to allot prime land at a heavily subsidized rate, one of the concerns which both the minister and I had was what kind of industries will eventually come out there. Will they be very traditional, you know, the way in which women entrepreneurship has been looked at for the last 6-7 decades or so, or will they be do things which are different, which are modern, which are cutting edge, and also tends to break that myth that women are not capable of getting into high-tech manufacturing, etc. So when the proposals came, when we saw the list of what are the lines of activity that women entrepreneurs are choosing, that was very, very impressive. So that's again something which has also helped us take such bold decisions, such progressive decisions in the future as well. The other important milestone in our state's journey has been, of course, the creation of V-Hub, and I won't say much because then Deepti will have nothing left to say. So when you ask questions to her, I'm sure she will answer, but that itself is a very momentous kind of a decision to have a completely dedicated innovation system. It's not just an incubation space, but the entire end-to-end support. The third important vertical, which we are now getting into, some of you might be aware, possibly you attended the Women's Day event, which happened on 8th of March, which also is the anniversary of V-Hub. So when V-Hub celebrated their 5th anniversary, our minister made a very important announcement. See, many of you would be aware, and I have also spoken about it, that since it's not to say that governments are not promoting economic activities or helping women become self-reliant, I remember more than approximately 30 years ago when I joined the government, one of the various performance indicators that we were measured on, one of the key performance indicators was how many women have you helped in getting bank loans. And I remember 30 years ago, at the end of the year, I had to really think hard and get data from all my bankers and all that, because that would have to be filled in my performance annual report. But if you go back and see, so numbers used to be there. I don't recall how many I would claim every year, but maybe 100, 200, some number I'll put there. But actually, if you look back, who those 100 would be, who those 200 would be, I mean, you will have a sense of disappointment today if you see what used to go on. So, first of all, this used to be just a box to tick. So, just because I have to give loans to 200 women, I'll give some 1,000 rupees here, 2,000 rupees there, 5,000 rupees here. There'll be no thinking at all on what that 1,000 rupees will do, what that 2,000 rupees will do. And amongst those recipients of those 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, if someone was more enterprising, she may use that for some productive activity. But the nature of activity also will be nothing very great. They may be doing some home-based activity. They will make some, maybe pickles or cut some dresses or stitch some dresses and stuff like that. So it's not to say that I'm looking down upon making pickles or stitching dresses. I mean, those are also important economic activities, but they don't match up to the potential that women have. I mean, if you say that women can only make pickles or do some stitching and cutting and all, then I mean, you are kind of perpetuating a very deep-seated stereotype. But between then and now, things have changed enormously. In fact, in this room itself, I know literally everyone who are there in the front few rows. And when I say that I don't know others, it's that I can't see that far. I'm sure I know many of them. I see Shruti in the line of my sight, but there are many others whom I'll also know. And I know how empowered you are, what kind of role model you are, what kind of competitive activity that you have chosen to follow, and you are giving everyone else the run for money. Not only are you providing competition to fellow women entrepreneurs, you are also providing serious competition, tough competition to men entrepreneurs. So you are standing on your own, and that is something which is amazing. This is one transformation which has happened in the last 3 decades. And we would like to see more of this happen, and we would like to see this happening from a very, very young age. In fact, when Sunil spoke from Blue Semi, I was just mentioning to MSR that Chandrasekhar works for this company. So many of you may not know Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar came to me, actually came to T-Hub when he was a student of class 8th. And he met the then chief, the CEO of T-Hub, Jay Krishnan, and told him that he can produce with the fan, what was he planning to do? To produce water or electricity, yeah. So he had a very audacious kind of idea. Unfortunately, I mean, in T-Hub, there is nothing to which people will say no. Whatever is your idea, you will be asked to think about, review it deeply, guide you. And he was guided from that age. His idea was, yeah, that I'll invent a fan which does not require electricity. I don't know, it was so far-fetched that I don't even recall what it was. But that is how his introduction to us was made. He was clearly a child prodigy. And then he went on to do other things. And then after finishing his grade 10th, he recognized that studying in a formal classroom and sitting before teachers and reading books and all is not his life. So he has quit studying. He got introduced to Blue Semi, and he's doing some very cutting-edge work there. So I would like lots of young girls also to go that way. The reason I'm giving Chandrasekhar's example is that possibly lots of girls also can go the same way. We can encourage them to become, at least sow the seeds of becoming an entrepreneur. They may become, they may not become, but at least the option that entrepreneurship is also cool. We can do great things. We can become change makers by becoming an entrepreneur. So this is something which we will be doing more of it. And as I was mentioning, the 8th March important announcement which our minister made was that lots of rural women are still doing lots of economic activities. But how do you ensure that they are able to realize their full potential, complete potential? That is one area we are going to focus on. So minister has announced a single window facility which will be made available. So if you are a rural woman, many of the women now, between then and now, many of them have been organized into self-help groups and their federations. So either you are an individual or representing a group, if you have some idea, if you are already doing something, but you are just scratching the surface, so to say, you are not really looking at how to scale it up, how to maximize the value that is possible in your activity, then this cell will guide them. So what we have done through Industrial Park, through VHub, through promoting STEM education amongst young girls, etc., all that will continue. But this renewed focus on women who are in rural, semi-urban, or even in a city like Hyderabad, in the working class neighborhoods, they will also become a very important focus for us. So these are some of the things that we intend to consolidate and do afresh as a contribution that the government will be making towards encouraging women.
Thank you so much, sir. FIP will always be very close to our heart. We are looking for one more FIP to come up soon. And as you rightly said, there is, I did not hear any no from MSR sir when we approached him also. So T-Hub is always yes. And as Flow also works with all levels, grassroots, medium and senior levels, I think so this portal will be a lot more beneficial to us also, Dipti. Yeah. MSR sir, can you elaborate on how has T-Hub evolved since its inception, and what are some key milestones it has achieved till now? Yeah.
So first of all, thank you, Rituji, and I want to call out people who, kind of responsible for getting us here. I think Pooja, I can't see Kirti, she's hiding somewhere. Yeah. So I think we met a couple of months back, and we said they reached out and said we want to see how we can engage with T-Hub. So I'm very mindful of what I have to do with my good friend here, Deepti. We don't want to tread on her toes, on her turf. But having said that, I think I felt so 2-3 points. Maybe I'll start with the beginning, the first part of what you said. So over the last 8 years, I think we've done a lot of work in terms of empowering entrepreneurs. So primarily our focus is on 2 themes. One is how do we get many more early stage entrepreneurs to first start and then scale. So we worked with close to about 1,100 entrepreneurs. They have raised close to about $2 billion of funding over the last 8 years. We've also evolved, started as co-working. Now we do a lot of programs on incubation, acceleration. We're also doing a lot of work on specific themes around, for example, healthcare, sustainability, mobility, semiconductors, and so on. And the other part of the work we do is working with large companies to help them with their open innovation journeys. Right? So when we first spoke, right, I felt, I think first of all, when we moved into this new building, so we've been in this building now for about 9 months. We moved here in June 28th. So we have right now in the building, we have about 260 startups in the building. 5 of the 10 floors are ready. The other 5 floors are work in progress. So at full capacity, we'll have about 700 startups in the building. So one of the things I was looking at is what's our gender diversity? Right? So I looked at gender diversity within our team. I also looked at gender diversity within the entrepreneurs who are here. Right? So one of the things which came up, and it came as a little bit of a surprise, is of the 260, less than 10% were women-led businesses. Or either woman-led or where a lady was a co-founder. Now that is something which I felt had to be addressed. I mean, going back in time, some of you may have seen a Bain report, which I shared with you just now. So Bain has published a very interesting, Bain is a large consulting company. They published a very interesting report on women entrepreneurship. This was actually published in 2020. And I was involved in a past life with that report. The report was authored by one of my juniors in college, a lady called Megha Chawla, who's a partner at Bain. So we had done a lot of work to understand what are the systemic challenges women have. Right? So for example, if you look at numbers, of the 60 million plus entrepreneurs we have in India, only 20% are women. Okay, one. Second is many of these, the number is between 13.5 to 15 million Many of them are single person enterprises, right? So obviously they've started, they've got to some stage, but they've not scaled. So when we are reflecting on that situation at T-Hub, and we have some amazing founders here at T-Hub, women-led businesses. So I think I saw Devi here, I saw Dr. Gayatri here, I saw many other, we have Sanketa and many other. Yeah. So I felt when we started talking to them, so and actually kudos to my team. So there's my EA, a girl called Suvida. She's passionate about diversity, equity, inclusion. So she pushed me and said, first of all, MSR, we must get more inclusion in our team. Okay, so I'm happy to share with you of the 60 people we have in my team, 24 are women. Okay, and we also have our first senior leadership hire. So our CFO at T-Hub is a lady who's joined us actually about less than 3 weeks ago. And we are actively looking to see both at a leadership level, at the team level, we get more women in. Because I think clearly they bring sanity, they bring a semblance of a different way of thinking. They're always thinking about inclusivity and so on. So I'm a passionate, and I happen to be a father of 2 daughters, one of whom is an entrepreneur. So I understand and can relate to the challenges women have when they try to build something, right? So what we are trying to do through this partnership was to see, while obviously V-Hub has done a fabulous job in supporting a large number of entrepreneurs, what we thought is let's look at how we can complement what they're doing, right? So clearly the areas where I felt we can add value, right, is one is, for example, from a funding lens, and I think Sunil talked about it a little bit. We have now built access to close to about 40 plus investors, angel networks, micro VCs, VC funds, etc. In fact, just yesterday I was talking to 2 women-led VC firms. One is a firm called Stronger, which is run by a lady called Ankita Vashishta. So she's going to be here at the end of this month. We're planning to do an event here. There's another one called She Ventures, which is also going to be here sometime next month. So we are starting to see even in the VC ecosystem emergence of women-led firms. So we want to engage, and the biggest barrier apart from all the social conditioning, the psychological aspects, I think has been a lack of access to finance. So we are trying to see how we can solve for that. So that's one. The second is in terms of market access. At T-Hub now we work with close to 30 plus corporates, across different sectors, automotive, prop tech, healthcare, and so on. And I think many of the entrepreneurs here would benefit from access to those networks in terms of scaling their business. So that's something which we are very keen to support, facilitate, and encourage further. The third aspect was around mentoring. So we also felt today, I think we've built a strong community of mentors, close to 200 plus mentors across again a range of sectors. And we felt that many of, I think the big challenge for all entrepreneurs, irrespective of gender, is always to have a trusted set of advisors, coaches, and mentors, and we want to support. So broadly, I said money, mentorship, market access, and also community. So when you said you wanted to do this event, I said it would be great to have all your members here. I know out of 1,000, maybe 100, 200 are here, but we'd love to have more active parts. So I think we want to obviously, as part of the ecosystem, like Jayesh Garu said, and I'm sure Deepti will say, we were trying to see what we can do collectively. Like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. How can we work together to create more, to first scale existing entrepreneurs? So for example, those 1%, 2% enterprises, if given the right inputs, maybe they can scale. One. Second is existing businesses which are got to some size, what can we do to get them to the next level of orbit? Third is get more young people to think about entrepreneurship as a career choice. Right? And the fourth aspect which Jayesh Garu covered is about not just being very urban centric, but also encouraging rural. So those are the 4 things.
Thank you so much, sir. I think so. When we were also trying to do this event and looking out to get some success stories, I'm sure you will have a lot of success stories from Flow members wherein, they can become the speakers then for other events also. So we really plan and intend to give a lot of success stories from Flow this year. Ms. Dipti, can you throw light on VHub and how it ensures its initiatives are inclusive and cater to women entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds and regions?
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the question. Ritu.
Sorry?
Good. Congratulations, Ritu, on being the flow chair. Look forward to immense success with the brilliant team that you have. So coming down to VHub, I think JSR has already touched on it, and also MSR spoke about it. So one of the things we are trying to do at VHub is make sure that all the things that Sunil spoke about, he spoke about, I think, having somebody to listen to, then understanding how to translate that idea into an actual prototype, then going from a prototype to actually a established business, hiring and everything else. At VHub, we are just trying to do all on one platform, which is VHub, very simply. And the second thing we are actually doing at VHub also is that one of the biggest challenges that we've noticed, and Sir has spoken about it, is that when we talk about women entrepreneurship, it is always seen as very traditional, right? It is very like, we are doing something as homepreneurs, hobbypreneurs, flexipreneurs. I don't know so much of jargonization that happens around entrepreneurship. But we are actually trying to make sure that more and more women entrepreneurs come out and become entrepreneurs themselves, which means, as Sir was speaking about, how do more entrepreneurs compete in the general market beyond just being in the women entrepreneurship or women entrepreneur market. The third thing is also in making sure that more and more young girls and young women think of entrepreneurship. What we mean by that is that we have a lot of students that we work with. We started out with 73 students. Now we have about 1,247 students that we work with in over 1 year. And that just did not happen, right? We made sure that, when we do some work, there is an active monitoring and evaluation system also. The reason we need to highlight that is to start anything is easy. So how do we make sure that, once you do that, there is a track on it, and how do we follow through? And how do we continue to grow those programs? So those 1247 students that we worked with over the past 1 year, now they will be continuing on with us for the next 3 years as well. And that is not because we are trying to do some advertisement and all that, but it's just that they want to now become ambassadors to make sure that more and more young girls participate in this. And last and most important thing is that when you talk about funding, and we have met a lot of Flow members over the past 2 years, 3 years we've been working with, since Sona started working with us, and then we work with Uma ma'am, and then we also work with Shubhra. One of the things is that when you think of funding, a lot of times you are not aware of the government support mechanisms which already exist. So when you think of funding, you always think, can I get a market right away with whatever product? I need money tomorrow. But many of you are not aware of the schemes that exist. Example, you take a small scheme, and it's not a small scheme, it's big, but it's called a CGTMSE, where you can get collateral-free loans. But when you think of raising funds, many times many entrepreneurs also think that getting a bank loan or getting some access is very difficult. So that is one more area that we've been working on quite extensively, and we've been able to create a credit or a fund opportunity of more than 158.23 crores over the past 5 years, and all this through the existing schemes. The reason is the money is there, everything is there, but how do we make sure that you guys are ready? So operationalization of government scheme, making sure that more and more of the entrepreneurs, I will stop calling women entrepreneurs because, and more importantly, how do you make sure that there is a good financial discipline that exists, and you are able to grow and become a very credible brand as you are creating your idea into a proper MSME, which is going to create employment for so many more. And when it comes down to numbers, we worked with more than 5,235. I'm sorry, in our pitch deck, we never use a plus, more than kind of words, because every number that we put on our deck is an actual person. So we make sure that we are very focused on the number itself, because every number or every one more digit actually represent one person. So we work with so many women so far, and this year we are hoping that we can work with more than 20,000 women across the state. not just in the tier 2 parts, but also across the state of Telangana and Hyderabad and everything else combined. And this will include women at any stage of an idea, MSMEs included, and we hope that while we talk about unicorns and sunicorns and all, I don't know, rhinoceros, blue whale, whatever else that is there, we are able to create more and more credible brands that are truly made in Telangana, and we'll be very happy if more of them are actually owned by women leaders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipti. I think so we, Flo and all our members are so very comfortable with Dipti Rawala. Yeah, we are. And I really like the thing that you said, ki we have to be very mindful of what we are using. So we don't say women entrepreneurs. It's high time we just say we are entrepreneurs. Yeah. Jayeshi, we discussed earlier that Telangana government has been focusing on innovation and we have been encouraging entrepreneurs to get into more unconventional areas rather than traditional industries. So what would be your take on industries such as deep tech, fintech or biotech? And are there any specific sectors that you would recommend women entrepreneurs, and like why?
So, so definitely, as I had mentioned in the earlier part of my answer also, that will be a real achievement. If you can see large number of women getting into new generation technologies, and you have not possibly met her, or otherwise you would have called her also. I also am the Principal Secretary for IT. So in our IT wing, there is a director who leads emerging technologies vertical. So her name is Rama Devi. And at any point in time, she will be working on at least 20 plus projects of different new generation technologies into developing products, solutions, manufacturing something. I have not asked her so far how many of these are led by women, etc. But intuitively, I know that quite a few of them are involving women in leadership positions or senior positions, etc. So you can work with her to find out what are the opportunities in some of these new generation technologies that we are working on. But if you ask what is our priority, what are our focus areas, so we are very keen at on 5 things, 5 verticals. One of them is a very important priority for us, which is related to agriculture. See, as many of you would know, Telangana is one government which has invested a lot. In fact, in the last 8 years, 60% of the state's budget has gone for agriculture infrastructure, agriculture support programs, agriculture extension, unlike any other state. And as a result, our production, our productivity have gone up by leaps and bounds. And what we now feel is that technology is the last missing bit. And if you are able to bring technology in all aspects of the agriculture chain, see, you remember not just the current national government in Delhi, but even the previous one used to have this aspiration that we will double farmers' income. But we know for sure that it has not yet doubled. And I'm very confident that if we bring in technology, the new generation work in agriculture, Telangana will be the first state to show how to double farmers' income. And this will be a sustainable increase in incomes across different crops, cutting across whether you are a large farmer or a small farmer, etc., etc. So that remains a very important priority. The second important thing is sustainable mobility. As you would know, the impact of vehicular pollution on climate, etc., is today well understood, well known, and the response also is pretty brisk. Governments after governments are announcing policies on electric mobility. I don't know if you will recall this or not. Many people, of course, will recall that the Formula E race happened in Hyderabad last month. I mean, last month meaning in February. But what is more important is that around that racing, we also conducted a week-long program on sustainable mobility, and lots of good ideas came. Actually, we celebrated startups also who are doing some wonderful design work in sustainable mobility. So that is one focus area. Clean energy and sustainability in general remains a very important priority for us. You will be aware that many of the flagship programs of the government focus on nature. For example, Harita Haram, where more than 4 billion trees are getting planted. Mission Kakatiya, under which all the minor irrigation tanks, which were built by the rulers of the Kakatiya kingdom but have become defunct due to centuries of neglect, they are getting revived. Yesterday, some of you might have read about it or heard of it. Our minister launched the cool roofs policy on how do you curtail or how do you prevent heat islands from coming in this urban area. So lots of activities which the state is already doing is focused on nature, including renewable energy, getting more than 15% of our energy through solar energy. So renewable energy, clean energy, and the added dimension of circular economy. How do you prevent waste? How do you recycle everything, reuse everything? That remains a very important focus. Another thing which we have noticed, so when my colleague Deepti mentioned about touching or impacting women who are in the villages, in the semi-urban areas, we see tremendous opportunity for food processing. When I spoke about agriculture, I gave only part of the issues which are related to increasing production and productivity using technology. But what do you do with the food which is already getting produced? So many of you would have heard our ministers mention this. I remember when he had attended the last flow event in which he had given out some awards, etc. He had spoken about it, that 5 revolutions are happening in our state. The green revolution, the white revolution, the blue revolution, the pink revolution, and the yellow revolution. So we have seen that these 5 areas or 5 domains are those where the entry barriers are relatively low, particularly for a woman. And we would like to ensure that not just 50%, but possibly 80% or even 90% of the entrepreneurs who emerge in this space in all these 5 revolutions are women. So we will be doing lots of programs focusing on this particular, the food processing sector. In fact, incidentally, on 28th and 29th of this month, we are organizing a very massive food conclave where domain experts from all these 5 domains will speak about the opportunities, and I'll invite all of you to come and attend this. So that is again something very, very important. And then, as I said, a whole bunch of new generation technologies, including artificial intelligence, data sciences, blockchain, etc., which my colleague Ramadevi is leading. So these are areas where if more and more women come out and kind of show interest, we have a whole range of support mechanism available. It is not just funding alone, but even stoking the idea creation in your minds, validating that idea. Many of these activities require access to humongous amounts of data, making that available, helping you do your proof of concept within a controlled setup supported by the government, funding of course, helping you scale up. So the entire range of solutions are made available for women today. And this could be a very good agenda for Flow to work on and take the lead in this.
Hello. Sir, I'm so glad that we got to hear this. As you've seen that the vision statement says sustain her ability. So this year we are also coming up with a lot of, we will be addressing e-waste drive, we'll be addressing home waste management, we would be addressing plastic drive. So, and we will also be addressing how you can make a business out of e-waste or home waste management. So we will be addressing all of these things throughout the year. So thank you so much, yes, sir. MSR sir, how is T-Hub supporting startups in these emerging sectors of deep tech or fintech, biotech? How is T-Hub going all out to do this?
As I said, we have startups across 30 sectors, including many of the sectors Jayesh Garu spoke about. So for all of them, for example, healthcare, Sunil spoke about how T-Hub has played a big role. So in each of these, so for example, if you take blockchain as an example, as an emerging tech, we have a large number of startups, including startups which are, for example, there's, I don't know if Sanketa is here, I'm not sure, she's here, a startup here called Smart Pharma, which is on digitizing the supply chain in the pharma space. We have again, for example, there's somebody who I'm not sure Sunil considers her as competition. But there's a young girl who's building, again, a non-invasive way of checking for blood sugar. So we're supporting all of them. So we have, as I said, so anyone who's got an interesting idea, right, in any of these sectors, as I said, we're more than happy to support. We have programs for early stage, idea stage startups. So many of your members could join. We have programs for startups which are further down the curve in terms of helping them with the product market and go to market and so on. So happy to we can do a separate. We will do a separate session walking you through what we are doing from a program standpoint, and then obviously work with you to identify entrepreneurs who are now ready for funding. Right? We are building now actively lots of angel networks, etc. Happy to help.
Hello. Deepti, you've been working extensively with women. Okay, so it's VHub. So you've been working very closely with women. And what is the scenario like for women entrepreneurs in these emerging sectors? How many women you feel are interested to getting into these areas, or what are the challenges? What is your take on women getting into these sectors?
So, thank you. So, one of the important things that we I'll address the gathering here, right? A lot of the members that I've met are women who already have existing businesses, right? Most of you have existing businesses. So, when we speak about emerging sectors, a lot of times you feel that, you have to go off and do one more thing. But that is not the intent. What we're trying to say is, how do you leverage all these emerging technologies into your existing business? Example, how do you, let's say you're running a semi-automated unit. How do you make it a lot more smarter? That is one thing you can think of. Second thing is, as Sir spoke about, a lot of you, again, I know are in the food processing sector. How do we actually support you in connecting, doing the backward linkages? So when we talk about emerging technologies, I think you can also leverage the emerging technologies into your existing unit, and that is something that I think VHub has been reasonably okay to support. That is something we've been already doing. And to grow more and more women who are actually looking at starting new entities as well, the first thing we are doing is awareness. When we think blockchain and AI and all these crypto and like anything new, you always feel a little bit of like, "Acha, this is some new demon I don't know anything about." So how do you understand it in a lot more simpler terms? Because end of the day, that is all big words. But this AI thing that we are talking about has been there since 1950. Like if you think of technology, to kind of, not to be a little bit frivolous, but it is like fashion, it keeps coming back. Suddenly when something happens, something comes back, right? So that is the way you need to look at it. So we are doing a lot of awareness and conversations around these emerging technologies without making it serious. So those are the things I would like to request all of you to be part of. It may not be as relevant to you right now, it's good to know. And the third thing also is data. You've heard a lot about data science, data analytics over the past many years. How many of you use that in your existing companies? So when you talk about challenges, lack of awareness is the first challenge. Second thing also is somebody else will take care of it. Outsourcing it is a second challenge. The third thing, and most important when somebody wants to get into it, is where do we start? Right? So you can always come to T-Hub and get all the knowledge that is needed because they have so many startups that are already in the space. So that is the third challenge that we've noticed. And last and most important thing, when you think of starting it out, the barrier to entry is high. Not in terms of talent, but in terms of the expenditure to hire that talent. And that is where, again, I think you can also leverage T-Hub's existing startups to actually get you started on that path to cut your costs a little bit lower and get into all these emerging technologies as well.
Very well said, Deepti. Jay sir, generally for an ecosystem to work well and yield results, several stakeholders must coordinate and work hand in hand. From the government perspective, sir, how do you feel is the coordination among various other organizations and departments working on the startup ecosystem? And how supportive is government in allocating subsidies or seed funds? Because a lot of startups, they don't tend to see the light of the day also. So how is government supporting there?
So, see, our government, right from day one, as many of you will remember, the state came into being on 2nd June 2014. And within a few days of that happening, our minister conducted a brainstorming session, a visioning session, so to say, to understand what should be the priorities of the state. And many of the experts who participated in that session, they advised us that we should become very welcoming of startups, innovators, entrepreneurs. This state should eventually become a startup state. And that guidance has stayed with us till today. All these stuff that you see, spending so much of money to create a T-Hub or a T-Works in the neighborhood, VHub and all that. No other government does this. I mean, lots of people speak about encouraging startups and helping them, but very few of them put their money where their mouth is. But we are different very clearly. So the government participates very actively with the startup ecosystem. Again, this is something which we were advised not to. In fact, world over, the belief is, the narrative is rather that government should stay away from this activity. Government should allow market forces to unleash themselves and take the entrepreneurs wherever their destiny is. But we thought differently. We felt that there are many pain points which the entrepreneurs and innovators face, and therefore government should be present to assist them, to intervene strategically. Of course, this narrative has come because the tendency of the government is to get into over-regulation, into micromanagement, which of course that is not something which is desirable. But our strategy was clear that we don't want to get into micromanagement, over-regulation, but wherever strategic support is required, we must give this. So many of you may not know how has this facility come into existence. So I remember in 2014, when we were, at that time Hyderabad was not such a buzzing place for innovation and entrepreneurship. There were some startups, some entrepreneurs, but it is not of this scale as we see today. So I remember we were sitting with some of them, 20, 30 of them at Triple IT campus. And many of them mentioned to us that, as you would know, this enclave is called Cyberabad. So they mentioned to us that we want to be in Cyberabad because all this, I mean, even now when you look around, you see all these IT companies, all the big names. And a startup also would like to be where the action is because you can interact, network, get connected. But obviously, as it is true in any other large city, if there is so much of action happening in a particular enclave, the property prices will go up. And this is what they told, that we want to be in Cyberabad, but we just can't afford the rentals. These rentals are beyond our budgets and all, and therefore we are pushed to somewhere in, let us say, Begumpet or Sikandrabad or Amirpet and so on and so forth. Of course, not to say that I'm looking down upon these places. I myself live in Begumpet, so if anyone is in Begumpet, I feel very happy about it. But obviously the action is here. So then this idea came to the minister that why don't we build something and give it to them and subsidize the rentals so that they remain in Cyberabad, but they don't worry about the cost of that space. And therefore, we invested in the first T-Hub. Some of you might have gone there. It's no more with us, but that also was a large space, almost 75,000 square feet. But then we recognized that the appetite to get into a conducive environment which promotes innovation, creativity is huge. And that 75,000 square feet of space will not really do. We should do something which is much, much bigger. And therefore, this facility has come up. So we are always keen to understand what the requirements of the ecosystem is, how can we play that role. There is another small example that I'll share and then I'll stop. In the same building, there is the office of a sister institution which is called RICH, R-I-C-H. RICH stands for the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad. And again, the thinking of creating that institution was something we learned from the startups. So many startups told us in our early days that Hyderabad has terrific range of world-class R&D institutions. We have ICRISAT, we have CCMB, we have IICT, we have all the defense labs and so many of them. Actually, there are almost 4 dozens of them. But unfortunately, for a startup to open their doors, it is literally impossible. I mean, no defense lab will allow a startup access, no IICT or CCMB or NIN or anyone else will be very encouraging of startups. So this institution has been created just to ensure that whatever the entrepreneur requires, which can be delivered by these institutions, that is done seamlessly. There are many such instances of how the government has played that important role of supporting the innovation, the requirements of all our entrepreneurs and innovators, and will continue to do so, more of it in the future.
Thank you so much, sir. I think so T-Hub is also one of the reasons why our state is again on the world map. One of the reasons. MSR sir, how is the scenario for entrepreneurs in general? Are they really utilizing the opportunities and the sources that the government provides or places like T-Hub provide? Are they utilizing these sources to the fullest?
I'll just pick up from where Jayesh Garu left off, right? So he said when TIA was conceptualized back in 2014-15, there were less than 200 startups in Hyderabad, right? And if you look at now, there are close to 7,500. Right? So I'm not to say that TIA is the only entity responsible. One of the entities responsible. When TIA started, there were probably 2 or 3 incubators in Hyderabad. Today there are 60 plus. Right? So TIA has played a role in being not just an incubator but also being a catalyst, a facilitator, and something where it's very aspirational now for a lot of people to want to get into T-Hub, to be part of the T-Hub ecosystem. And I think our philosophy is, we need to let 1,000 flowers bloom. So if there are others who are doing work, how do we bring that ecosystem together? And even this conversation we're having today is really part of that whole outreach part.
This question would be to all three of you. Jayesh, we can answer. What must we together, Flow, Telangana government, WeHub, T-Hub, do further to strengthen the ecosystem for women entrepreneurs for the coming years?
I'll keep it very, very short. Please flow with the flow.
That was a good one, sir. Deepti, now to you.
I cannot beat that, so I'll just. Okay, so very simply, I think complementing effort is all it is needed. And the second thing, which is quite important, is that any ecosystem, we are, let's say, under the stewardship of Minister Sir and JS Sir, we are trying to build an ecosystem, but it is only incomplete unless all of you participate. So you have to be equal stakeholders, not just by way of coming in and getting the support, but also paying it forward. I think the knowledge that we gained from you, as Sir has mentioned about Rich and T-Hub and how everything was created, if we can get that equal contribution from you, we will be able to deliver better. And I think nothing speaks like presentations are cool, but stories resonate much better. So we'd like to seek all of your support in making sure that we can have more and more stories coming out and inspiring a lot more people, not just in Telangana, but across the country.
MSR, sir, we want to hear it from you.
I think a lot has already been said, so I think it's just about working together, working towards a common vision, and working together towards a common vision in mission mode. So.
Thank you, sir. Throughout the year, we will be getting to you many more programs and events, all tailored to promote women empowerment. Come with us, walk with us, and realize our vision. Thank you so much, and we now open to take questions from the audience now. We'll give you mic, Sonal.
So one of the question that was asked, sorry, I know, but yeah. Sona just whispered or shouted out a question to me, which is that, do you also do work on expos? So yes, one of the things is that under the Department of MSME, there is also an exhibition fund that is there. So we are also leveraging that and supporting a lot of the entrepreneurs. A few of the Flow members were also part of the Business Women Expo, where a lot of the costing is actually reduced. It's almost zero, right? Because it is reimbursed. Exports and expo also, both, yes. We also help you with all the compliances because we are also tied up with all the mission outposts as well as the consulates for various countries and various regions that you guys work with. Sure.
Can we have the question from the audience, please?
Hello, good afternoon. It's really thrilling to know about everything that's going around with the ecosystem enablement. What I would like to understand is, for anybody who would like to reap the benefits, where do we start? How do we reach? Who do we go to? For example, you talked about not having awareness about a lot of government initiatives remaining unexplored. But let's say I wanted to gain knowledge on them. Where, like practically, where do I go? Whose door do I knock in all the three ecosystems?
May I? Okay. So the first thing to do is, I think Ritu will share our email address. Just drop an email to any of us, because we all work in a very complementary manner. And to your question, a lot of your flow members have actually reached out to us, and we do conduct a lot of not just conduct, but we also work with you hands-on making you understand how the various support mechanisms work and what is the way for you guys to be eligible for that, right? So we do a lot of that work. And the second thing also is that I don't know how many of you know that Flow member is the one who actually created, designed and manufactured saris for all 27,000 ASHA workers in the state. So it is all you guys who did the work. So yeah, just reach out to any of us. And the email addresses I think Ritu will share. Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
I can't see the lady now, but we do a lot of events, right? And all of these are pretty much kind of open source, meaning anyone can attend. So if you follow us on all the social media, so for example, any one of you has an idea and is trying to figure out if you want to convert it into an enterprise, we do something called an idea house. We do that once a month. So I think the next one is on the 13th of this month. So please come in, and we do a lot of community events, most of which are open. So just come by, and we'll share the calendar and all of that.
If you're a Flow member, you can also get in touch with our empowerment committee head, and you can have easy accessibility, and the question can go rolling faster then.
Yeah. Hello, this is Kirti. So the question which I have is, most of the entrepreneurs we come into the stage where we want to scale our business from probably 1 CR to 10 CR or 10 CR to 100 CR. Where we find the challenge in the incubation centers, we are from the different categories and we have the challenges in different departments. So we don't find the exact match for the mentorship or anything, where we see we are from the different category, maybe the lifestyle brand or some food brand, and we have the challenge in different departments. So how will T-Hub and V-Hub gonna help us in this?
Yeah. So it's actually something that we've been working on quite a lot, right? Because we talk about startups and enterprises, a lot of the things that you spoke about, lifestyle, fashion, let's say personal care, wellness, everything just drops off. But we know that those are the ones who are actually creating a lot of employment and also adding a lot to the economy of the state as well and making brand Hyderabad. So to address that, what we have done at V-Hub is that we've actually created an entire vertical to make sure that we can support all these kind of entities with very focused and need-based interventions. So I cannot call you guys to an event where there is somebody thinking of starting something. You guys need you have very specific asks, you have very specific needs. So over the past 3 years, due to COVID and many reasons, we could not do a lot of that. But now we have an in-house person who's going to be exclusively working on building brands and making sure that you can be connected to the right kind of people at the right stage of your business. And we'll also work with you on making sure that you can understand what is the right stage of business as well. Hope that answers?
Yes, but
No, please. We can talk.
Exactly, yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So as I said, most of these are, we put all of our programs are available as open source. We have no, filters type of thing. So you can apply online whenever we do any of these knowledge sessions. Most of them are done here in this room or some other space here. So feel free to reach out. We'll coordinate and work closely with. Yeah.
So, Padmanja ma'am, one thing is that Ritu, as we discussed when we had met last week, and Pooja, is that a lot of these questions or the things that you guys want a lot of information is everywhere. Right? There is a lot of events everywhere, and T-Hub does a lot of brilliant events. But one thing is that you have that one question when you actually have the need. So what we are actually requesting Flo, and I think Pooja and Ritu were kind enough to oblige, is that if we can actually understand what your needs are at this point in time. Because that will enable us to understand how your needs will change as your journey progresses. So that yes, ma'am. We'll do that both, but we'll be. I think the data that I think Ritu and Pooja and the empowerment team will share will give us a lot more understanding of what data to push to you. I can send you a huge mailer, but it'll have like 8,000 words, which mean nothing to you at this point, right?
Hi, ma'am. Hi, sirs. All of you, thank you for being here today, and thank you, Vicky Flo, for organizing this for us. So I run a school. I want to know, as the creative director of a school, how do I put startup ecosystem into the curriculum of school children, number one? Because I know you do a lot of stuff for higher education institutions, but for schools, for children, and they're still learning physics, math, and English. And we do have Atal Tinkering Labs, innovation cells that are conducting events in school, but it still remains as an extracurricular. So I really want to know, how do we bring this up to children as curriculum? Because that is the future. Emerging technologies are the future. They are emerging. Children are emerging. So there is a direct confluence there. But how do we actually bring this apart, make it a part of curriculum? With MEP coming in, so if you could help us, since Secretary Sir is also here, I would like to know if there's anything in the pipeline that we can look forward to.
It's very much in the pipeline, and since you are in this building, as soon as the session gets over, please go to the 3rd floor. The Y Hub office is there. We have started this exactly to respond to what you have spoken about, on how do you bring creative thinking into the curriculum, how do you promote students to start problem solving activities, how do you empower the teachers to offer mentorship to the students. So we have been doing this for the last 3 years. We run a program with the help of UNICEF, which is called the School Innovation Challenge, which has gone off very well. But what we felt was that there has to be some continuity in what we do. There has to be an institution and an organization which does this all the time. And therefore, just about 20 days ago, we have created this new entity called Y Hub. The office of Y Hub will be on the 10th floor, isn't it? On the 10th floor of this building, but that space is not yet ready. They are currently operating from the 3rd floor. So if you go there and enroll your school, you possibly will become the first school to get enrolled under Y Hub.
Thank you so much.
But what we will require is, see, we have put some very stringent norms of admitting schools. So you will have to dedicate some number of hours of your teachers for the Y Hub program.
That's my next question.
They
How
will
do
have
I
to
train
participate.
teachers?
Yes, they will have to participate in training program, and then we will expect them to deliver certain content and certain expectations in the school in a particular way, which will be reviewed from here. So if you are confident that you will be able to get, so when we tried this in the colleges, our success rate was not very high. In fact, I was many of you may not know this, but I was the officiating Vice Chancellor of the JNTU for almost 1 year, 8 months.
I see.
And we started working on something very similar. We called it the J Hub. There are many colleges which are affiliated to JNTU. So we would ask the colleges to recommend teachers to whom we will train and who will do innovation activities in the colleges. We found out that typically those teachers who are troublemakers in the colleges, they would be sent to participate in our training, or who are the junior most, they have no experience. I mean, no one else is willing to go, so he will be sent. So it did not take off that well as we had imagined. But then we discovered that this is the reason why it is not taking off. So when we are replicating it for schools through Y Hub, we are very conscious of this, that you have to send your best teachers and they in turn have to go back and do some solid work in the school. But do go down. The CEO of Y Hub, her name is Apurva.
Okay.
Will you see if she is around? She can come, or they can go down and meet her. So it's just a matter of going down 2 floors.
Okay, because I wanted to say that we have farming in our school, we have entrepreneurship in our school, but we have no technology in school. It still remains an extracurricular. The reason is because we do not find relevant pedagogy, relevant trainers, relevant mentors for kids. It still is very basic. Even in international schools which are highly paid, even in cities like Hyderabad, I can't even imagine talking about two-tier cities. But even in such a big city like Hyderabad, we do not find technology in school, where children are allowed to breathe it. And
So,
live.
ma'am, if I may.
I'll just quickly respond to your question, specifically what are we doing at T-Hub. So one of the things we've started doing after we settled down here is to encourage young children, school going children to come here. So we do that on I think 2 Thursdays a month.
Okay.
So I'll have Suvidha coordinate. So you can get them to come here. Many of our entrepreneurs actually come in and do sessions talking to them about what. So for example, the youngest entrepreneur we have here in this building is all of 13 years old. Okay. His name is Shlok.
Okay.
Very interesting young guy, like Chandra sir talked about. Shlok has actually built a voice assistant on a PC, which is like Google, like Siri or something like that. And now what he's doing is actually working with T-Works, which is the building next door, to put this on to a robo. So
Okay.
what he's wanting to solve is for elderly people, geriatrics, right? So can you build a robo with voice activated support to help them go about their daily work? So, and I have personally been mentoring this guy.
Okay. So one of my school students has built a humanoid robot which was very useful in our locality during COVID. So kind of deliver stuff. He took it for a trial run, but he still is unable to find a place where he can, kind of.
Ma'am, we are running
I'll
short
have
of
Suvidha.
time.
Suvidha, if you can just stand up.
Yeah, we're running short of time, so we'll take
Sure,
another
sure.
question. Now we have somebody else. Last question. Okay. So, thank you, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan ji, Mr. MSR, Ms. Deepti Rawala, and Ms. Ritusha for the impact you have created today. Could I kindly request Ms. Meenakshi Nahata to come forward with the autograph sheets, please? It's my honor to invite Ms. Aparna Reddy, Senior Vice Chairperson, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello everyone. A brand new year, a new partnership. Hyderabad Flow family always strives to improve and empower our community. Partnership like today we are forming with T-Hub is a start to something new. A foot in the right direction as this synergy will assist in facilitating corporate growth, incubation for our female and flow entrepreneurs, and providing guidance as knowledge partners and financial institutes. This last hour has given us an insightful view into what all T-Hub and V-Hub can do for us. It's just a matter of tapping into the right resources, and I think we are all at the right place. Pooja, I think you got our hands full here. Thank you to our Principal Secretary of the Industries and Commerce and IT Departments, Government of Telangana, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas Rao Mahankali, CEO of T-Hub. Thank you, Ms. Deepti Rawala, CEO of V-Hub. A great session, Ritu.